What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you're all doing very well. Let's finish off with the Warrior videos for 10.1 tier sets. We're going to talk about Fury Warrior. Talk about the tier set in a second. We'll do some little dungeon testing on the dummies as well. The tier set bonus, first of all, is fairly simple for Fury Warrior, and I would argue a little disappointing. It has some interaction with Bloodthirst, of course, and we'll talk about that right now, but my TLDR is that it's just a little bit boring, I think. But I want to hear what you guys think, the people especially who play Fury Warrior all the time. Two-piece set, Rampage, damage, and crit chance go up by 10%. I mean, that's great. That's a lot of damage. Rampage causes your next Bloodthirst to have a 10% increased critical strike chance, deal 25% increased damage, and generate 2 additional rage, stacks up to 10 times. Now, I was looking at this in terms of, like, is it every strike of Rampage that does this? And I believe the answer to that is no. So we'll just, let me do this. Here we go. So here we go. I'll press Rampage once. And you can see it's given me the buff, but Rampage strikes 4 times per attack, but it only gave me 1 charge of the Merciless Assault, right? So the tier set bonus, unfortunately, does not stack this Bloodthirst buff up that quickly. It's 1 cast of Rampage equals 1 buff of Bloodthirst, and you can obviously keep... So it depends what build you're running, but if you're kind of running like a Reckless Abandon build, which I'm assuming you will be, because this buffs Bloodthirst, then you're going to want to be spending every 1 cast of Rampage, you want to cast Bloodthirst twice, or what will become Bloodbath, right? So this tier set basically says after every Rampage, your next Bloodthirst, like the fact that it stacks 10 times doesn't really matter. Do you see what I'm saying there? Because you're probably going to be running a Reckless Abandon build, in which case you're going to want to be using both charges of the Bloodbath that you get after pressing Reckless, or after pressing Rampage. So you're only ever going to get 1 buffed up Bloodthirst, okay? That's kind of my initial thought there. Oh, I got to run away really far. So that's kind of cool, though. It does interact with Bloodthirst. What does that mean in terms of the talent tree? Well, there are several talents that interact with Bloodthirst. First of all, they're mostly on the left side of the tree here. You're obviously going to go over here probably anyway, but Bloodthirst always enrages you, has a 15% increased chance to enrage you. Bloodthirst damage, of course. Then Gushing Wound. This is called Cold Steel Hot Blood. It's called Gushing Wound on like details and stuff. This is huge. Bloodthirst critical strikes generate more rage and inflict a Gushing Wound. Well, of course, the tier set bonus is now giving us 10% more crit on that next Bloodthirst after we Rampage. So very good that we're getting that extra crit. We get additional crit from Blood Craze. This is really good. Bloodthirst increases the critical strike chance of your next Bloodthirst. So these obviously work together. They've been doing that for a long time now, but it kind of works in conjunction with the tier set bonus now, which is giving you 10% additional crit after you Rampage. And then you've got the cooldown of Bloodthirst here, some Mastery, and of course Reckless Abandon, which is kind of the primary capstone idea. It brings the build together, working with that. So all those talents you're probably going to want to take now if you weren't taking them before, because the entire tier set bonus, your entire 4-piece, is essentially about Bloodthirst and increasing its damage. Now, let's look at some numbers really quick. I did a bunch of different builds here. This one was, I believe, with my 2-handers again? My 1-handers? What was my 1-handers? It was my 1-handers, I believe. Let me look at it one more time. Let's look at this one. There we go. So this test that I did here was actually with 2 1-handers, because I was exploring like an auto attack kind of focused build, and seeing if it was possibly good at all, and it didn't really make much of a difference. I was trying to combo it with this new item here called Strike Twice. It's a new sword that you can get. It literally did no damage. Look at this. Strike Twice is at the very bottom. 0.5% of my damage. So this sword needs to be buffed or something, because I was doing a build with Odin's Fury that buffed my attack speed by like 30%, and I have the attack speed bonus over here, Wild Strikes. So I'm getting like 50% more attack speed, and then just more auto attack damage here. Like, I just don't understand. It should have been proccing more. It didn't proc at all, so it doesn't really matter. I think you're still going to want to run two two-handers. It's probably perfectly fine. The build that I ran with two two-handers was down here, I believe, right? Yeah, 140k overall. This is what the damage kind of looks like. Rampage is up there. Bloodbath, which is, of course, the Reckless Abandon Bloodthirst, of course. And then Gushing Wound, because we're critting all the time with this new tier set bonus. It looked quite good from what I can see. The Rage generation is just off the charts. This is the build that I'm kind of running here. I don't know what build you guys would want to run. I have kind of an Odin's Fury bleed-centric build going on here. And then it increases my auto attack damage and speed with the Odin's Fury. So, and then obviously I just have Reckless Abandon, but the Rage generation is off the charts. This is so insane. It just never stops. Let me get current fight here. So there we go. We're going to charge in, pop this. It's a bit laggy, so just bear with me here. But, you know, you're doing your Whirlwind into a Rampage, and then you want to make sure that you're casting the Bloodbath that you get. Oh my god, I can't do anything because it's so laggy right now. So again, the tier set bonus is a little bit strange because I press Rampage. It only buffs my next Bloodbath, and I don't want to waste my 2 charges of Bloodbath. I want to consume those. So I'm not really sure what to make of that quite yet. I think that realistically, you're just going to be getting that 1 Bloodbath after you press Rampage is going to be buffed. And you get so much Rage generation, it probably doesn't matter. Because, like, look at this. It's ridiculous. I get Rampage up every 2 seconds. Look at this. 1 Bloodbath, Rampage. 1 Bloodbath, I'm back to Rampage again. So, the Rage generation is insane, which is great for the tier set bonus. Because, of course, you're going to be getting those big buffs to Bloodbath every single time you press Rampage. And you're getting Rampage up a lot. Because you're generating just so much Rage. It's really, really crazy. So, yeah, I like this build. I'm not sure how you guys would want to build it. Maybe you would build it differently than I would. I'm sure there's probably some different talent build, but the damage overall is fine. This is only on 5 targets. It's going to get better with more targets, of course. Gushing Wound, Rampage, Bloodbath, top of the charts there. Absolutely big stuff there. I did do, again, a little test with one-handers. I'll just zoom in on this so we can see. Oops, that's too much. Here we go. So, dual one-handers, I did do a little bit of a test in terms of the damage. My Annihilator damage was 3%. My auto attack damage was 5%. My sidearm was 3.5. That's a total of 11.5% of my damage. So, sort of all the benefits of having very fast weapons that are auto attacking really quickly. When I dual wielded two-handers, my Annihilator damage went down, my auto attack damage went down, and my sidearm damage went down to 8.5%. But, you know, everything else is hitting harder. I don't think this really matters. I think that you're going to be better off sticking with the dueling two-handed weapons. So it's really up to you what you guys kind of want to do there. But ultimately, what do I think about this tier set bonus? It is a very simple. You're getting extra crit on Rampage and extra damage on Rampage, which is good. And then your Rampage basically buffs your next Bloodthirst. The fact that it stacks up to 10 times, in my opinion, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Because I don't see a world where you're running this without running all the Bloodthirst talents, and therefore especially Reckless Abandon, and therefore wanting to, of course, press those Bloodbaths back to back. Now, again, it does buff your next Bloodthirst, and then when you basically go like Rampage, Bloodthirst, because you generate so much rage inside of your Recklessness window that you're getting a ton of value out of this. So I'm not trying to say there's no value here. I'm just saying there's a lot of value. Now, there is some flexibility with the tier set bonus in the sense that if you didn't want to run Reckless Abandon, let's say you want to run Anger Management and you're going to run a non-Annihilator build, you're going to go and do a Raging Blow build, then there is definitely more flexibility there. What you can do with that build is spend all of your, you can generate all of your rage with Raging Blow and not really press Bloodthirst at all. And then once you get to 10 stacks, you could then consume it and get a Giga Chad Bloodthirst going. You could do it that way if you wanted to. I think realistically, it's probably better to run it this way, though, and to just have the big Bloodthirst talents going here. Press Bloodthirst as much as you possibly can because you're getting that benefit on the first Bloodthirst after every Rampage. So let me know what you guys think, though. Please let me know what you think. Is this am I missing like a Raging Blow build here where you're taking all the Raging Blow talents and then you're not consuming this 4 set until you get 10 stacks built up and then you do a really, really big Bloodthirst crit? Like, I don't know if that's good. I don't think it's good, but please let me know in the comments down below if you've tested this on like a Raging Blow type build and you're kind of delaying when you consume the 4 set. I would love to hear from you in those comments down below. But all in all, I think the Fury Warrior tier set isn't bad. It's a DPS increase, but it's very boring. I think it's kind of boring, and it doesn't really change your gameplay style too much. You're going to want to probably invest in the Bloodthirst talents if you aren't already. That might be the only major change that you're going to see. So let me know what you think once again in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I love you all. I will see you in the next one.